Hey y'all, I'm so glad to be back in the kitchen tonight with y'all. The, the funny thing is, I guess I'm just kind of out of practice. I had made up this sauce here. We're going to do some delicious barbecue pork chops. You know, we have done pork chops so many times, and I don't think we have ever done barbecue ones, which y'all know I'm not crazy about barbecue. I like it a certain way, and Braden doesn't like barbecue that much. Kanan did. So, however, if I'm not cooking for Braden, most of the time I'm not going to do a barbecue style meat. Anyway, I made this sauce up and thought that I was recording. I went to hit pause and realized that I wasn't recording. So let me run through this sauce with you real quick. It's not a complete homemade sauce. It's just a bottle sauce that I dress up a little bit like I do a lot of other things. Okay, so let's get that going. And then we'll get our pork chops in over here. So let me show you what I've done here so far. So as you can see here, I've got about 3/4 of a cup to a cup of sauce, and you'll notice it's pretty thin. So let me tell you what I did. I did about 1/4 cup of just the Sweet Baby Ray's barbecue sauce. You can use whatever kind you want, or you can make it all from scratch and do completely homemade. You do it however you want. But I did this right here by 1/4 of a cup, and then I did about 1 tablespoon of W sauce, 1 tablespoon soy sauce, let's see, 1 teaspoon of brown sugar. You can do more if you want it sweeter. You know, I choose to not get it too sweet. And then I did 1 teaspoon of mustard. I guess I put that back up. A little bit of pepper. And I didn't add any salt because we've got our pork chops seasoned up really well. And then I did about a little, anywhere from a half a capful or to a capful of this liquid smoke. They have different kinds. This is the mesquite. I'll hold it up here, so if you're not familiar with it, you can get this in the aisle, like with the barbecue sauces and ketchups and that kind of stuff. So anyway, that's all that I put in here. Just dressed it up a little bit, and then I put some water in here. Y'all know, because I like to thin it out. I don't like it thick. So I probably added in about a good 1/4 to a 1/3 of a cup of water. So that way it could be like this. So if you don't want to add the water and you still want this amount of sauce, you're going to need to increase your recipe a little bit. However, the water does not dilute the flavor. It is delicious. Y'all try this. It's just like I said, it's just a bottled sauce dressed up, and it's perfect. Okay, so what we're going to do, we're going to sear up our pork chops. Now you can do this, or you can skip this step and just put them in the pan, put your sauce on it, and throw them in the oven if that's all you have time for. But I do recommend the searing method. Y'all know that I do choose to do that if you have time for it. And actually, I'm saying pork chops, but y'all, I tell you what, this is probably, I cannot remember a time I went to my little grocery to get some pork chops and them not have any. All that they had was the little boneless ones that are like super lean. You know, if I use the boneless ones, I like those little eye chops. You know, they're different. They're kind of like a ribeye, but a pork chop. Anyway, all they had was the little real lean boneless ones, and I did not want these. So they had these sirloin chops, as you can see here. So it's basically like a pork chop, but it's just a little bit of a different cut, I guess. But I mean, I think they'll still be just as good. So they're kind of shaped a little bit different. These are boneless, but they have the good marbling in there. I think these will be really good. So I have 4 of them here, and like I said, these are called sirloin chops. Y'all may be familiar with them. You may have made them before. In my pan here, I'm going to go ahead and put these in here before I even wash my hands, since I've already got them on there. In my pan here, I have just a little bit of oil and a little bit of butter. We're going to pop these in here, sear them up. I think I'm just going to do 2 at a time to not overcrowd, and that will help us get a really good sear. Let me wash my hands. I'll come back and I'm going to tell you what I seasoned them with. Okay, y'all, I got them seared up, and now we're going to just place a little bit of butter over the top just to help give them a little bit of moisture. Now, I'm going to be honest with you. These, I know we've just seared them, but they feel a little bit tough to me. But now, I know we're going to be slow cooking them, and I hope they tenderize up. But either way, you will still get a great pork chop recipe for your good, the normal bone-in pork chops, or the eye chops, the boneless eye chops that I normally get, you know, that are so tender and good. But these may surprise me. I'm sure I've used these at some point, but it's really not my choice. But the crazy thing is, that was what I was in the mood for today. I thought, I want some good barbecue pork chops. I hadn't had any in forever, and that just sounded good. And then, of course, of all days, I couldn't get any. This is just a little bit of onion that I had in the fridge. So I just cut it in little pieces. This will help just give them some liquid, some moisture, and some flavor. So I'm gonna toss those on there. And by the way, what I seasoned my pork chops with is just some of the blend. The Kinder's the blend, y'all know. I'm hooked on this stuff. And some smoked paprika and a little bit of black pepper. That's it. That is all that I've done. I try to keep it simple. And now we're going to take some of our sauce, our little dressed up sauce here, and drizzle some over. And I'm just using the little, y'all see I'm going easy with the little metal pan. So we're just going to, and of course some more, like I said, some liquid will cook out of those onions to help give them some liquid to cook in, and out of the pork chops. Let's see, I didn't want to use all this, but if we have to make more, then we will. All right, I'm gonna save about that much out. Let's see. Yeah, that butter melts, it'll give them a little bit. Okay, y'all, I am just going to, I'm gonna do a little black pepper over the top of those onions and stuff. I've got my oven on 350, and I'm gonna cover these with foil, pop them in there, and I'm going to clean up a little bit, and I'm gonna come back and I'm gonna show you those delicious potatoes that I made the other night with my steak. Y'all will love those too. I'll be right back. Okay, y'all, using our same skillet that we seared our pork chops in, I'm going to make those little potatoes that I made the other night. If you've seen the picture of the steak with the peppers, onions, and the potatoes all in there in one, those potatoes that I made were the best thing of all of it. I mean, the steak and everything was good, but I loved how the potatoes were. So I'm doing the same thing like I had seared the steak in the skillet, just like I did the pork chops, basically using the same seasons. The only thing was I had added in a little bit of W sauce. So I'm going to put a splash in here just because I want them to have that same exact flavor. Okay, they'll probably be good without it, but I want to try to do it the exact same way. Y'all will love these, and they're so easy. They're low maintenance, and that's another thing that I love. So I'm letting this get back good and hot, and I'm just going to just a little bit like that, not much, just enough to where they have that little bit of flavor in there. And I'm going to add in a little bit of butter, maybe about half a tablespoon, okay? And we already have a little bit of oil in there. So if you don't, make sure you put in a little bit of oil if you don't already have some in there, okay? You can get to glaze this skillet really good. And then we're going to toss our potatoes in. I'm going to show you how I did those. I have the little Yukon Golds, y'all know that I like so well. And let me grab them. And I just cut them, I washed them really good, cut them in half long ways, like this, and I scored them really good. I'll show you that in just a second. So we are going to place these in here with the cut side down, open side down, just like this. And you can do a big bite. These are perfect for company, a cookout. Everybody will love them. You can do these in the oven also if you need to cook a lot. All right, I have two more over here, and I'm going to show you what I did. So after I washed them and cut them in half, I just took my knife, you'll see here, and I just go down through there like this, kind of like a tic-tac-toe deal. So if I may make an extra little line down here, just like that. Not all the way through, just a little bit, okay? And we'll do this other one. Just go down in there. I mean, I'm probably only going in just to, like you can see here, just like the tip of the knife. That's it. just like that. Okay, all right, I'm gonna put those in there. And then I'm going to put, now you can kind of season them however you want. This is just the flavors that I used the other day and I loved it. I'm going to do a tiny, and I mean a tiny sprinkle of my Creole. For one, because it has salt in it, and I'm going to use another salted season, so you got to be careful with that, you know. So I'm going to just barely sprinkle the back of these. I'm not going to put any on the other side. We're going to sprinkle them too, or season them here in a minute whenever we flip them over, okay? So, I mean, just a tiny sprinkle, and that's going to be it. I'm going to pop the lid on them. I'm going to let those hang out for just a second, let some good color, let that butter cook into them a little bit, and then when I come back, we're going to season them up a little bit, add some broth in there, some seasoned butter, and then we're just going to let them slow cook. Okay, y'all, these have probably been sitting here maybe 10 minutes or so, just until they get like a good color, kind of like that. You know what I'm talking about? And some of them's going to be a little colored more than others, but that's fine. We're going to toss them around a time or two in here. Yeah, these were like, you know how the texture is of these potatoes anyway? Well, cooking them like this, it's like they were so soft and like delicate. I just cannot even explain the texture of them and the flavor. I mean, all the way through, to even be in such big pieces like this, you would think, well, they're not going to have that much flavor to them. Oh, they sure did. I mean, the potato itself has good flavor, but they were just amazing. All right, hang on a second. Let's go ahead and add in. It's getting a little dry. So now we have some chicken broth here. I have about half a cup. I don't know how much I'm going to do for this amount. And of course, you know, just increase your amount depending on how many you're making. And try to not pour it directly on the potato. Try to kind of pour it like in the little holes, you know, like this. I'm going to just go ahead and do this whole half a cup. And what we'll do, we're going to pop the lid on them, let them slow cook, and then what we'll do, we'll take that lid off and let that liquid absorb out before they're done. But we're going to just let them slow cook for a while. So now I'm going to use the blend. Y'all know. What else, right? So just gently sprinkle them. Like I said, just be careful because of the salt. That's just something we always got to worry about with all these seasonings, is the salt. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a little bit of smoked paprika. There was quite a bit still left in the pan, but I'm going to do just a sprinkle. Well, I think this is getting low. Just a little like that. And then, one thing that I love on any kind of like fried potato that I make is some good lemon pepper. And I have this Mrs. Dash, which is salt-free. So I love to be able to have a salt-free seasoning that I can combine with another seasoning. You know, and you don't have to worry about that salt. So this is perfect. I love it. I use it all the time on like potatoes and stuff like that whenever I have another seasoning added to it. It's just really good to me on potatoes. Okay. Now see here, they're seasoned up really, really good. And I am just going to pop this lid on these and just let them cook, and then we'll kind of flip them back and forth as it goes. I have it on a real low temperature, and you want to make sure and put a lid on it so that steam will help get them good and soft. Hang on, Bill. And I'll be back, y'all. Hey, y'all. So you can see here our potatoes are really coming along. Most of that liquid has cooked out. So I may just leave the lid off now and just kind of let the rest of that slowly evaporate. But we are going to add in some of my garlic and herb butter. And y'all know I've been telling you about this for a while. If you haven't got you any, get you some. It is so good, I'm telling you. So I'm just going to put in just about maybe a tablespoon or so of this. It just adds great flavor to that liquid that's already in there. And I'm going to try to get it to maneuver around. We don't want it all there in that one spot, do we? There we go. Use a potato to stir it around. I hadn't tried one yet, but that's what I did last time. I just kind of got one out and kind of cut into it to kind of see how soft it was. I can tell they're getting really soft, but I don't think they're quite ready just yet. And besides, we want that liquid to kind of cook on out just a little bit. But these are perfect. Whenever I had these, I thought these are perfect for a summer cookout. I mean, the perfect little potato dish. You don't have to worry about them sitting out, you know. They'll be fun. And then I'm going to do a little bit of parsley. That will be the last thing that I add to these. And I'm just going to let these hang out and just continue to cook for a little while. Get soft. We'll get one out here in a second, or I'll kind of cut into one just kind of see where we're at. If they're getting close to being done. Our pork chops have been in the oven now for about 45 minutes. I'm going to get those out here in a second and give those a check too, because I'm going to remove that foil and kind of let that barbecue sauce caramelize on them a little bit. But I'm gonna give them a few more minutes before I do that. I'll come back and show y'all. Hey y'all, I just got our pork chops out. I let them cook for right at about an hour. So now what I'm gonna do is flip them over. They hadn't been touched since I put them in there. They've just been cooking. Well, there we go. I'm getting it all over me. They just been cooking, covered in the foil. And well, nothing's tore apart, so we know that's tender. I don't know why I didn't get my tongs back here, but anyway. Flip them. They look good. They smell really good. All right, and so I'm gonna take the rest of our sauce here and drizzle over, just like that. And I'm going to pop these back in the oven uncovered, and I'm going to cook them for a little bit uncovered, and then I will most likely turn these on broil so they can get like caramelized just a little bit. And our potatoes, I'm fixing to get those out. Let me get these back in the oven. We're going to get our potatoes out. I'll be right back. All right, y'all. Look at these. Does them not look good? Now, no, they're not burnt. I know they are a dark color, and I feel like they always look darker on camera. No, these are perfect. All right, we're going to just get them out, and I'll tell you what I'm going to do. We've got a lot of good flavor still in this skillet, so we're going to get that out and drizzle over the top of our potatoes. Let them have a little bit of extra moisture. They're really soft at this point, so you have to be kind of gentle with them. Now, what I should have done earlier, you see how we have all that good stuff? I should have saved just a little bit of my chicken broth for this, but I didn't. I didn't even think of it. So what I did, I just mixed up a tiny bit more. And I mean, this is probably about 1/8 of a cup. That's all you're gonna need. Just something to pour in here to get that, to break all of that loose. And then once it does that, I'm gonna just pour it over the top. Let's see. I can just do it like this, yeah. I mean, the pan it was on a low temperature, but it'll still, I think, come up. And that way, while these are sitting, they have a little bit of liquid that they're sitting in. And just help keep them getting moist. I'm going to turn this up just a little bit, let this cook for just a second, and then I'm going to come back and we're going to drizzle it over the top. And we're going to cover these until we get our pork chops out, which is going to be just maybe another 15 minutes or so. Okay, it has all kind of thickened up just a little bit. I don't know what it is about it, but once you put that in there, if you let it just come up to a quick little simmer, it's like it thickens it up some. So we're just going to drizzle this over our potatoes, just like that. I don't know if y'all can see or not. I apologize if you can't, but Yeah, and just work it down there in the bottom. And you know, these are fantastic. Let me set this over here. Look at these. You will love these. You've got to try them. Okay, I'm gonna just lay something over these, keep these good and hot, and then all we've got to do is just wait on our chops, which will not be much longer, and then we're gonna fix this up a plate. Hey y'all, all right, I have our pork chops out, and I went ahead and put my potatoes on here so they could start cooling, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this out of this hot pan, get me one out so it can start cooling, because there is no way I can taste this stuff right now. And I'm gonna try to get some of those little onions out. That's optional too. I mean, if you just like them for the flavor, or if you want to get some to put on your pork chop, you can. I always like to do that and a little bit of the good sauce. I'm just gonna do this little one, and I think this little piece here come off of that one, so I'm gonna get that out too. Okay. All right, I'm just gonna let this sit here and hang out for a second, y'all, and then I'm gonna come back and we're gonna taste it. And let me tell you what I did. So overall for the pork chops, we did covered 350, 1 hour, took the full off, put it back in the oven 350 for, I'm gonna say 10, 15 minutes, give or take. I didn't really time that part, but it wasn't that long. And then I turned it on broil for just a few minutes, just to kind of let that that sauce, you know, like caramelize and get a little sticky. You know what I'm talking about. And that's optional. You don't have to do that if you don't want to. And you can cook them for a lesser amount of time if you want to. They're done, you know, way before that. But I like mine to be just fork tender. Same with the potatoes. You know, I cook them probably around about a good hour or so, but on a very low temperature. But I didn't want them to be just soft. I wanted them to be like the way I made them the other time. When I bit into that potato, it was like so soft and fluffy and just so good. So I'm hoping I have that this time. I've not, you know, I said I was going to try one. Well, I didn't even do it yet. So let's hope that that's how these are again. And if it is, I'm telling y'all, you will love these. And even if you don't make my pork chops, you got to try this sauce, this little dressed up sauce. I call it a little semi-homemade sauce. It would be good on ribs, whatever you wanted to put barbecue sauce on. Pork chops, chicken, it'd be great on chicken. It's a really good little dressed up sauce. And anyway, I'm just going to let this cool for a second. I'm going to come back and we're going to try it. Okay, y'all, let's see how we done. We're going to try one of these potatoes first, because they're probably cool by now. See these? Look at them. Now, if you don't want to get yours as roasted like this as I did, you don't have to. That's how I like them. I promise you, they don't taste a bit burnt. They taste magnificent. Or they did the other time. Let's see. Outstanding. That butter, that broth, and all that stuff that they cook in there gets in the potato when you score it like that. And I mean, like you can see, like on the inside, they are just, it is so flavorful and good. And the texture is just amazing. And the thing about it is, these would go with anything. So I want y'all to definitely try these. Now, these are a little spicy. I may have got a little heavy-handed on the seasoning this time, because I do feel like they have a little bit of a kick to them. And I normally wouldn't make them that spicy per se. Especially if I was feeding them to other people. But I mean, they're delicious. I'm just saying, you know, kind of go easy on your spices, because you know, a little bit goes a long way. All right, let's try this pork chop here. I really wish I would have had my good bone-in pork chops for this, like I initially wanted, but that's okay. y'all know that, y'all know how to do it anyway. If you get you good pork chops like I was talking about. Y'all tell me, do you prefer a bone-in or boneless? I love a good bone-in pork chop. However, I also love those boneless ones that are like a ribeye. Like these reminded me, all right, so those little ones that I usually cook, y'all know what I'm talking about. They're so super tender, they just pull apart. They remind you of a good ribeye. These reminded me of like a New York strip, if that makes sense. Like they were long, they were a little bit more lean. So yeah. They're good. I can tell a little bit of a difference in the texture, but hey, they're still good. That sauce is magnificent. I'll tell you that. It is so good. Yep, this is all a winner, y'all. The pork chops are not dry, and as you can see, they pull apart. And these, I love to just pick them up, man, like this. That's what I did the other time whenever I made that little combo. Even after I had already had my plate and it was all still sitting here, I just walked by and picked me up a potato and was eating them. I just couldn't get away from them. They were so good. All right, y'all. I have kept y'all long enough, but we got 2 recipes done here tonight and 1 little video. I got something. Lord, I thought I had a hair or something hanging on it, but it must have just been a glare. You never know. All right. Like I said, I've missed y'all. I'm glad to be back. I have several new things that I want to cook for us in the next few days. So y'all be seeing me again real soon. All right, bye-bye.